gives me more pleasure than to realize now that the work that I have been doing for the past 16 years with my younger colleague and professional partner Peter Singer has really gelled into this moment. As a member of the United Nations Secretary General Scientific Advisory Board, we have dealt with the development of these, the critique of them, the presentation of them, and we're now working on implementation of these. But one thing I want to tell you, no matter how different they are categorized, they really are about health, all of them. These are the social determinants of health, and these are the issues we need to understand deeply in order to understand health in its wider dimensions. So, those of us who are involved in innovation and grand challenges and designing RFPs and so on, this is one big subject. Climate change is the defining challenge of our generation. And one can think of climate change and health and addressing the issues at the same time in a way that brings value to both subjects. In a way, Peter and I, for the past 16 years, have been on this journey, sometimes knowing what we were doing, quite often not knowing what we were doing. And we started, for example, with designing life sciences Convergence innovation centers. We worked on this for several years and actually designed them, had at least ministerial buy-in. We almost had started building some of these structures that we were talking about. We were going about it slightly the wrong way. We were thinking about bricks and mortars rather than the innovation part first, but its time has come now. We took, I think, about a year and a bit to study how we can increase innovation in Africa, particularly in the life sciences, and came up with this really nice title, Freedom to Innovate. Thinking back about it, it's embarrassing. Why do we need the freedom to innovate? We were already innovating 200,000 years ago, exploring continents, leaving Africa, our footprints all over the world. Everybody, as I said early on, came from Africa. We don't need permission from anybody. We've always had the freedom to innovate. Perhaps this becomes the motto for Grand Challenges Africa. Back to origins, back to Africa. We're all Africans. This is no longer the dark continent. Africa is the sunshine continent. Thank you very much.
Professor Dar's closing remarks today have been the culmination of what we've been talking about the whole week. We want to think about where we're going because it's important that we don't just celebrate what we've had this week, but we make sure that we are going forward and taking some of the conversations and implementing them and applying them. The Canadian government actually gave a commitment of how they would want to help us work together, and I'm really excited. And my take-home message, and I think Dr. Ban said it very well, and again we've been told whether we have some governments that come with us. We go with the willing, and I think we have a lot of willing partners here. So I'm not too worried. And then once we have the impact, the rest will come and join us.
Right, and we've had great conversations around the whole theme of how do we build Grand Challenges Africa around the theme of SDG targets. So in moving forward, we will be looking critically at the priorities. A number of things have been flagged, capacity building, for example. No matter what issue we choose to focus on, it's clear we must find a way to integrate health systems, capacity building, including the human and institutional capacities.
We want to consolidate what's gone forth. 360 innovators, if we could support, I think, even 20% of the innovators who have innovated in the last 10 years in Africa, we definitely could build a very, very sustainable platform going forward. And again, innovation is expensive, yes, but it has the ability to create a lot more beyond the innovation. Job creation will help alleviate us from poverty. Every table is filled with an African who is here to set an agenda. So our third pillar of setting the agenda, I think, can come as a reality, because it is us who are here in this meeting, and it is us who are going to build Grand Challenges Africa.
Where is the next big ideas coming from? Who is ready with some new big ideas? But I think it's equally important, if not even more important, to see how do we build on what has been achieved. And the grand challenge is collectively, like we have had, all these projects, $120 million of investment, a lot of scientists, many of you seated here, who feel that they need to be supported to move along the value chain towards late phase development and eventually delivery. So we want to consolidate, we want to outreach. So we'll be focused on that. How can we help countries? I was challenging Ayo Ajay this morning about, it'd be nice to have something called Grand Challenges Nigeria, for example. So these are the conversations I think we need to continue having. And then the agenda setting, as Evelyn has said. And finally, hopefully, all the input you have given us will lead to us thinking about what are the things that Grand Challenges Africa wants to prioritize in moving forward.
I have been lucky enough to join some of these dialogues, and I'm also heartened to hear such passionate advocacy on such important subjects. In Kenya, we have seen the clear need for a society that invests in and celebrates innovation, and in taking the steps necessary to build a culture and ecosystem that enables the potential of technological advancement. Approximately 10 years ago, Kenya invested less than 0.5% of the GDP in research and development. As of last year, this figure has now more than doubled. Kenya has become a growing hub of innovation. It is the home of M-Pesa, M-Kopa, just to name a few examples of locally led innovations that are having far-reaching impact here in Kenya and also abroad. It was worth noting that during my time, the one challenge we had is, for you to innovate, you need to work with problems. And in many cases for us in Africa, we never got a chance to even understand what our problems were. We ordinarily got told, here is a solution to the problem that we found out for you. But today with Grand Challenges, this is different. You're taking the Africans and providing the needed support to be able to provide the innovation. There's no government that will not want to support this. This initiative is planting the seeds for the continent. So we may be looking at things we're doing today short term, but this helps us in the long term, changing the continent fully. And I don't believe there's any government in Africa today that will not actually want to support that. So I think it's maybe how you package the message, make it easier. Thank you.